Good morning, Santa Clarita. Welcome in. Glad to have you. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. I am Matt Watson, and this is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. Welcome to the show. You know, our show, Eye on the Valley, is brought to you by SCVi and iLead Schools. We are a network of charter schools with campuses in Castaic. You know, I always say Castaic, and it is technically Castaic, but it's right off of New Hall Ranch Road there. It's Valencia adjacent. How about that? So, that's our founding school, SCVi in Castaic. We've also got campuses in Agua Dulce and Lancaster. We've got a fully accredited online school that we're going to be talking about a little bit later on this morning. And we've got a homeschool program that's just blowing up called iLeadExploration. You know what? For more information on any of our schools, whether it's online, home study, campus-based, hybrid, we've got everything that you need. Visit us at iLeadSchools.org. Again, iLeadSchools.org. So, we've got our eye on education here in Santa Clarita and across the nation. But like the show says, we like to keep our eye on the valley as well, bringing you everything that you need to know about what's what here in the valley. And we do it all while trying to bring a little smile to your face, bring a little chuckle, a little giggle for you. So, nice way to start your Friday off. Yeah, happy Friday, y'all. Oh, boy, we are easing into another weekend together. Grab yourself that cup of coffee. Take it easy. Traffic is fantastic out there. Friday morning light. And let's do this together. And it's a long weekend, too. Heading into a long weekend. So, that never stinks. You know, weekends seldom stink, and a 3-day weekend is just 3-day deliciousness. So, do you have Monday off like we do here at Eye on the Valley? It's President's Day, so you should. If you don't get Monday off, I don't know, maybe throw things around the office for a little bit. Kick, complain, throw a good tantrum. You know, it's 2024. We're allowed to tantrum if we're unhappy with things, right? So, it's going to be a great show today. So like I said, pour yourself that second cup of coffee. Let's do this. Coming up on Eye on the Valley, we've got Kate Wolfe. Kate is the director of iLeadOnline that I mentioned earlier. Kate's school is growing like wildfire, and you're going to find out a couple of the reasons why. There's lots of them. Maybe we'll have time to get to a few of them. And then in hour number 2, from Bridge to Home, we've got Executive Director Chris Najarro and Director of Development Mandy O'Connor. Do you know Bridge to Home? They're doing great stuff here in our community, and you might want to be a part of it, or at least support them, or you know what, just hang out and be inspired. So stick with us. It's going to be a great show. Well, at least until, the end of the show when my brother shows up. If you've never listened to Eye on the Valley before, my mom makes me bring my stupid brother on the air every Friday, and it's a train wreck. But, like a good train wreck, you won't be able to look away. He's got trivia questions, and it's always got the potential to be fun. So hang out and enjoy with us, won't you? Let's do this. My first guest this morning is Kate Wolfe. She is the director of iLeadOnline. Kate began teaching as an English instructor at both the college level and at a private college prep high school. She came to iLead in 2016 and has been with us ever since. She currently homeschools her 6th grade twin girls, and actually, I'm thinking they might be in 7th grade now. We'll find out. And her son, who's either in 3rd or 4th grade, and then she's also got a little one alongside her husband who supports her. Kate is grateful to be working for a school that meets learners exactly where they are, values each child's story, and finds a way to engage each one of them in an authentic and personal way. And under her watch, like I said, iLeadOnline has just grown like never before. Let's find out why. Good morning, Kate. Welcome back to Eye on the Valley.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, and happy Friday.
Happy Friday indeed. So do I need to update my bio for you, Kate? What grades are your kids in?
It goes so fast. My twins are in 7th grade, and then I've got a 4th grader and a 1st grader.
Oh, my goodness. No more kindergarten for you.
I know, right?
All righty. So let me go ahead and update that now. 1st grade. Fantastic. So, Kate, before we really get into this, incredible opportunity, Donuts just walked through the door, and we're super excited. We were just talking with Lisa outside about how expensive donuts have gotten, and So Engineer Jen just walked in with a small fortune in her hand. Anyways, Kate, we digress. Before we get into what this, what iLeadOnline is all about and what you're offering to students across Southern California, tell us a little bit about the school. When did iLeadOnline open? What grades do you serve? And here's kind of a trick question for you. Where is your school?
Okay. And I totally support priorities.
There we go. I got to have something to dunk in my coffee.
Yeah. So iLeadOnline was actually a vendor to sell classes before it was a regular full-time charter school. So we had an online program. I want to say back as early as 2015. And I was actually iLeadOnline's first employee as a charter school, which opened in 2017, and I've been here ever since. So we are a public full-time charter school, free for learners that reside in the counties that we serve. And we have all of the curriculum for kids online ready to go. And yet at the same time, we really encourage that they get away from the computer screen. So our projects have a lot of voice and choice, a lot of hands-on options, and a lot of ways to personalize to really engage kids and get them learning in an active way. And we don't have we have a headquarters, right? We're based in Acton, but our kids come from 5 counties, so all over Southern California, really, and they learn from home. While they can learn asynchronously, so they get to learn according to schedules that work best for them, we do have live virtual sessions, and we have lots of really fun meetups for families that range from the Santa Clarita Valley all the way down to Long Beach. We just had a aquarium squid dissection at the Long Beach Aquarium.
Oh, wow. Now, your kids didn't just jump in the tank and start cutting open fish, did you? It was a planned dissection? Okay. Kate, you hit on a lot of things that make me really want to drill down quite a bit. And so I want to kind of take it one piece at a time. You mentioned how unique your school is, especially in the online space. In fact, I remember I was a high school principal when, as you mentioned, iLeadOnline became a thing in 2015 and started selling classes. It's so funny, when we start talking to parents, it's, would you like to purchase the courses, or would you like them all for free? It's kind of an interesting decision. Again, we'll get into that, but I remember when I was a high school principal, before y'all came along, some of my students were taking online classes, and it was, well, quite frankly, Kate, it was ridiculous. It was this kind of click test sort of thing. It was like an online textbook, right? The kids would read the material or not, and then they would take the test and pass or not. And sometimes it wasn't even the student that I won't get into that. But your school is different. Can you explain a little bit how iLeadOnline is different than what people might think of online learning?
Sure, that's a great question. So I think that stereotypically, as you touched on, the online learning people think of as sort of canned, read the summary or the textbook and then take the multiple choice test and call it a day, sort of really impersonal and distant and detached. And that's not what we are at all. We believe that we're moving into, uncharted waters. Technology should be there for us to engage kids and make them feel like they can learn however and wherever they want. So at iLeadOnline, we do not believe that they need to be logged in time in front of the computer screen. Everything is product-based and project-based. So we meet kids where they are. We let them create and direct their learning alongside of our credentialed instructors and the team of people that support them to make sure that they are able to succeed and move forward in their learning journey. So while the content is online and can be accessed anywhere, it can also be created and done anywhere, right? So kids can, for example, a little who is learning how to graph can use sidewalk chalk out on the basketball court and take a picture and upload the picture of them graphing rocks or stones on their giant basketball court grass. So there's lots of really cool creative ways for kids to get hands-on and to learn. And we believe that technology should be used to do just that.
Well, so you sort of hinted at that part of an answer to my next question, because, when I think of online learning, I totally get how that would work for high school, maybe middle school, but definitely for, the older kids and adults. But one of the things that I get all the time is, well, let's talk about what the high school experience looks like for your learners first, and then we'll talk about the younger kids. So it is different. Like a regular brick and mortar, high school is very different than elementary school. Can you explain the services that a high school student would receive and how they're able to flex for what they need?
Sure. So our high school kids get a whole team of people to support them. Each learner gets what we call an academic coach, which is kind of like your educational Sherpa. That coach helps them to pick classes, monitors progress, checks in with them daily, usually has live advisory time to connect them with other kids and with each other to make sure that they're doing well, and collaborates with their individual course instructors and our college and career counselor to make sure that everyone's working together to move that learner toward graduation and their post-high school, college, and career goals. And beyond that academic coach I mentioned, course instructors or our facilitators. So just like at a regular high school, they get credentialed teachers that instruct them in whatever subjects they want. And iLeadOnline has a huge catalog of fantastic classes, including APs, languages that are really tricky to find elsewhere, like Japanese. And so each of those individual course instructors works together with that academic coach to support, and the learner and their family, to support them in their learning. And then we also have a college and career counselor who helps make sure that their college and career goals are being met, offers college tours, helps with career and technical education plans if need be. We have a full range of career and technical education classes for kids who need to or want to explore possible careers after high school, like photography or entrepreneurship. So our high school learners get a full team to help them move toward graduation. And all of our classes are NCAA and UC approved where applicable. So our student athletes are really well supported as well.
Fantastic. And, you're absolutely right. I love that term, Kate, educational Sherpa. That is fantastic. I want to put that on a business card somewhere for somebody. But you're absolutely right. Like I said, in those early days, I remember when some of my high schoolers started taking classes at iLeadOnline, they mentioned, Mr. Watson, I'm receiving more attention from my online instructor than I'm getting in some cases in the classroom, here at school. And it was really exciting. And you guys have really revolutionized the online learning space. But some folks are a little skeptical sometimes about the younger grades, because you mentioned you offer TK for 4-year-olds through 12th grade. So what does iLeadOnline look like for a little, like a kindergartner, a first grader?
Sure, that's also a great question. So
Thanks.
We also have guides for our littles, and I have to give credit to Allison Bravo over at iLead California for that term. When she works with iLeadOnline, she's the one that came up with it, and it stuck. So for our littles, we have also an academic coach who works with those kiddos, but it works kind of a little bit more like you would imagine a self-contained classroom would in a regular kindergarten class in a brick and mortar school. So that facilitator or teacher is also, or coach, is also their teacher for all of their subjects. So it's all contained with that one person to help those kids know exactly who to go to and give them that structure and that direction when they're so little. For the littles, besides that one teacher that helps to support them, we really welcome in partnership with the families to make sure that mom and dad are part of the process and are able to have some voice in how their kids learn. All of the curriculum is there for them online, but also hands-on too, right? So the projects are all play-based. And in fact, our TKK instructor is a child and development credentialed teacher. She knows all of the things around play-based education and child development, and she has done an incredible amount of work crafting a curriculum to help guide parents alongside her in supporting their kids in that learning journey. So for those parents who want their learners in independent study, but may not feel adept at picking curriculum or knowing that their kids are getting what they need, this is all there for them. And then they have a teacher who's there every single day to answer their questions, to grade learner work, to offer feedback, all of those things and all of that support. And then those littles also get what we call daily campfire. So we have sessions for our littles every day that are live virtually, and they get to connect with each other and share their work and talk and learn in a virtual space. But beyond that, we also have regular meetups for those kids. Like we have a farm day coming up on March 7th, which we're really excited about. We have regular park meetups to let kids connect with one another. So there are ways for them to interact and learn in different spaces.
You know, and you're absolutely right. Not only can it be done, it's being done well. One of the things that blew my mind when I first started supporting some of your elementary facilitators at iLeadOnline, your littles are not only doing fine, they're outperforming most students in the state. They're doing great. But Kate, you know, when I mention online learning, some parents do wince and they say, yeah, I mean, but my kid's already on, you know, the screen all the time. I don't know if I want them on the screen all day when they're going to school. You mentioned that that's you're not finding that to be much of a problem. How do you manage that?
Sure. So while we do have our virtual live sessions, those are highly encouraged but optional. And then beyond that, we have what's called Brightspace, which is our home for all of curriculum. And parents and learners can find assignments there, but they don't have to complete them on the computer. So there are really great ways for them to take those projects and that learning material and then move away from technology and the computer screen to learn, which we actually encourage. We have lots of different choices for kids. So the ones that do need to do a worksheet or an assignment on the computer can, but we really do, especially for the littles, want them to get hands-on and move and learn with voice and choice and with their bodies. So, for example, Brightspace, which is, again, our learning management system, allows kids to use tablets and images and icons to easily navigate. A kid could go to the tide pools with their parent and take pictures of themselves there and upload it after they get back. They don't even have to be attached to the system. They don't have to be on Wi-Fi. They can turn in their work later as pictures and then get feedback from their instructor. So there's nothing that limits them to the computer screen. If anything, I think it frees them up to learn in all sorts of ways.
I love how intentional you and your team have been about building this really innovative program. Kate, I want to keep talking, but there's donuts in the studio, and I need to take a break. Kate Wolfe is the director at iLeadOnline Charter School. When we get back, I'm going to have my mouth full of a maple bar, I think. But she's got some incredible things going on, not only this summer, but throughout the entire school year that I want Kate to share with you. Regardless of where your kids go to school, you're not going to want to miss this. I'm Matt Watson. You are listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS. A couple of people in the studio gave up bread for Lent. That's an extra donut for me and you, Jen.
That was bad timing on their part. I agree.
Yeah, right.
I agree.
That's on them, not us.
We don't have to share.
Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, and you are listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I'm joined this morning by the director at iLeadOnline, free public charter school. Yes, when I say charter, you say free. Charter! Charter! That's right. A free online charter school. And if you weren't listening last break, yes, they serve grades TK through 12. Not only can it be done, it's being done better there than most schools across the state. They're just really killing it, not only with their littles, but with their high schoolers as well. Yes, they're NCAA certified for you student athletes. Yes, they're A through G approved for you college-bound kids. They've got it all there at iLeadOnline. Kate, not only do you have it all, I understand that this year, 23-24, your school launched a lot of new offerings. Let's talk about some of them. You mentioned before the break that you've got over a dozen CTE pathways. So first of all, what is a CTE pathway and why is that important?
So CTE stands for Career and Technical Education, and it's important because it really allows kids to start to explore their interests early and in depth, so that by the time they get out of high school, our goal is to have them walk away with something that allows them to step right into a career of their choice. And we really believe that exploration is a key part of their development and their movement into their post-high school experience in life. So our CTE is not like I think sometimes people imagine old-fashioned CTE, kind of wood shop. Not to say that wood shop's not great in some ways, but we have the full range of really new, fresh, and exciting career options for kids to look into. So we have a full arts, media, and entertainment pathway that helps kids learn about animation and digital design. We are looking into building out game design as well. We have some introductory CTE courses even for our littles that are in middle and even elementary. We have some coding classes for them. We also have photography. We have CTE courses for our working actors who often take advantage of that. It's really great because they can use the work that they're doing on set in order to connect with their education and their learning and get some credit for it.
Perfect.
Reflect on it. We have a business and finance pathway with entrepreneurship and computer literacy. We have an education, child development, and family services pathway for kids that are looking to get into education themselves, which includes some connections with internships. And then we also have health science and medical technology sector for those who are looking into patient care and sports medicine.
Gosh, so you're talking about some like high demand, high paying, high interest jobs, and also perfect for the Southern California community, right? You're preparing folks for those jobs in Hollywood. That is fantastic. I see you've also got an offering here called Get Lit. Now that's a cool title for a class or a program or whatever it is. But what is Get Lit?
So in the past, during the summer months of our school year, we have been able to offer some spoken word and poetry classes through a company called Get Lit. Okay. And those classes are also NCAA and UC approved for our athletes and our college-bound learners. They can get English credit and learn all about the spoken word. Take a deep dive into poetry.
Kate, you mentioned that you're a perfect option for those kids that are working in Hollywood, acting and things like that. And I can understand why, given how flexible it is. Our marketing team recently spotlighted some of your learners who are doing some really exciting things that otherwise they wouldn't be able to do if they had to be, sitting in class from 8:30 to 3:30 every day. Can you talk a little bit about what some of your kids are doing, how iLeadOnline makes what they're doing possible?
Yeah, absolutely. So for our working actors and our athletes, we really want them to feel like they can fit their passions in and also learn and have room to act, to play basketball, to play hockey, to ride horses, to do those things that they're passionate about and they excel in and that they're building their careers in. So because we're product and process-based, right, we're not requiring that they sit in front of a screen for a certain number of hours a day. We value what they create, and they're allowed to create those things in time frames and according to a schedule that works best for them. And in fact, our academic coaches work with them to create those customized schedules that work around their practice and their acting time. So, just to highlight, we have one of our seniors who is currently in the Percy Jackson series and is doing fantastic and able to travel and promote and act and build his career, all the while graduating high school with fantastic success. We have learners who are competing in basketball and working to build their eligibility towards colleges and competitive colleges in the Big Five and elsewhere, hopefully with goals towards professional playing. And that goes for hockey and other sports as well.
Well, fantastic. And you mentioned when you were talking about Get Lit that it was an offering in the summertime. I want to give you a chance to talk a little bit about what you all do in the summer, because it's funny when I work with all of our other schools, you get into May and toward June and staff starts really chomping at the bit. They're looking forward to that summer vacation. But a lot of your staff, they don't take time off in the summer. What do you guys do in the summertime?
So we have two tracks, actually. We have our normal school year schedule that starts in August and goes all the way through till May. But we also have a second track that starts on July 1st and goes throughout the year that way. And those classes that start in July 1st allow kids to take courses during the summer for all different reasons. Sometimes they want to take a class and catch up in their scheduling. Sometimes they want to take enrichment to make sure that there's no learning loss. But either way, we're really happy to be able to offer that learning year-round.
And I love that, because I know you've got, a handful of kids that actually do that, I guess, earlier track where they go to school from, I think it's July to May or something like that, right? And then you have other kids that will enroll in your school just for the summer, and then at the end of the summer, I think they go back to, they might choose to go back to the school that they were at, September through June. Is that correct?
That's also correct, because we run the full year long. It works just like a normal transfer. So any learner who wants to enroll with us full time in July, they're not enrolled anywhere else. They can come and join us to take a few classes. Like I said, sometimes that's for credit recovery. Sometimes that's to take an extra year of language or to get ahead in an art class or to do enrichment to prevent learning loss. And then they're welcome to transfer back to their other school in September before they start, or the end of August.
Fantastic. And so, Kate, I can't help but think that folks' interest is piqued. I know that you're taking applications for next school year, whether it's a July start or an August start. But you just started second semester. Are people still able to enroll right now if they wanted to? And if so, how do they enroll?
Yes, absolutely. So we are still taking enrollments now. And in fact, we are processing enrollments every day, which is so exciting. We love to be able to serve kids, and our growth is fantastic. So to enroll now, families just go ahead and go to iLeadonline.org, and they can click enroll now and follow the prompts.
Fantastic. And if folks are looking for more information, they're not sure, earlier this morning, they may have never considered it, but now listening to everything that you have to offer and how flexible and fantastic the education is at iLeadOnline. But, they might want a little bit more information. I understand you've got some information sessions coming up. When are those, and how can folks sign up for those?
Yeah, so we have regular open houses twice a month, actually. And if you want more information on attending an open house, or you'd like to take a virtual tour of one of our courses, or just get any questions answered, you can go to iLeadonline.org and click Contact Us and fill out just a form in order to ask your questions and to get one of our office staff to get back to you. They're fantastic, and they return those emails within 24 hours. That includes phone calls. But our next open house is coming up on February 29th at 6 p.m.
Yep. And it's, folks come in and it's interactive, just like your classes. It's online, so that folks do it from the comfort of their own home. We've seen families sitting down at the dinner table joining us for the informational sessions. And you're right, your staff is fantastic. Everybody gets all of their questions answered. In fact, Kate, one of the most frequent questions that we get is, how is this different from homeschool? Because it is different. People think, okay, if my kid's doing school at home, it's homeschool, but it's very, very different. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So we're different in that we have a full team of credentialed, qualified, experienced educators who are there to support kids. All of the curriculum is there for you. We are fully accredited, as I mentioned, NCAA, UC approved. So all of the things that you would want in a top-notch school, you get through iLeadOnline, but you also get with the flexibility of independent study. So personalized learning, customized scheduling, and content as need be.
And then, Kate, I mentioned before, it was kind of a funny thing. Oftentimes we'll ask families, sort of, so do you want to pay for these classes or do you want to get them all for free? Seems like a silly question, but you do have a lot of families that choose to pay for your classes, right? They take one or two classes without ever unenrolling from the traditional public school or private school or wherever they may be going to school. Can you talk about those options for a little bit?
Sure. So for families who want to join us part-time, perhaps they live outside of one of the counties we serve, or maybe you love your school and that's fantastic, but you want to take an additional course outside of your regular course of study, or perhaps we offer a class that you can't find at your regular school or that you can't fit into your schedule. For example, we have the full AP capstone program with AP seminar and research. That's a really hard to find and engaging AP class. We have Japanese, as I mentioned before. Kids can choose, or families can choose to pay for those courses out of pocket part-time, complete them, and then request an official transcript that, again, NCAA, UC, and fully accredited. They can get that transcript upon completion and go ahead and take back to their school and their college upon application.
Yeah, I love that, Kate. And you mentioned, you guys are able to offer a greater variety, more in-depth offerings. I know a lot of kids take, they only have the option to take one or two classes in the area of foreign language, right? You've got maybe Spanish and French or Spanish and Mandarin or what have you, but you all offer a lot more options. Same thing with the arts, photography. I had a lot of my high schoolers take your photography class because that's something that's difficult to offer in a regular brick and mortar school, but y'all don't have to pay rent. You're able to do so much more. And again, Kate, you mentioned that iLeadOnline is NCAA approved. So if you've got a student athlete, they can take these courses and walk straight onto an NCAA, a college campus. You're A through G approved for the college-bound kids, and all of your kids are doing amazing things, succeeding. You're preparing them for college and career. It really is amazing. Kate, I want to thank you for joining us this morning. One more time, if you're interested in iLeadOnline, or if you think you might be interested, check them out at iLeadOnline.org. That's iLeadOnline.org. You can sign up for one of the information sessions, the next one coming up February 29th. That's right, that extra day that we get this year, February 29th at 6 p.m. We've got an information session. You can just ask questions of the staff. The staff is amazing. They'll pick up the phone. They'll call you. Again, that's iLeadOnline.org. Kate, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We will see you soon. Have a great weekend.
Thank you for having me. You as well.
Alrighty, it's going to be an amazing weekend, and we're starting it with donuts here at Eye on the Valley. You are listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I'm Matt Watson. We'll be right back on your hometown station, KHTS.
Accidents happen, but rest assured Patterson's Collision Center is here to help. Patterson's is a family-owned and operated collision repair facility providing the Santa Clarita Valley with premium collision repairs. Patterson's prides itself on being the only California-certified green repair shop in all of Santa Clarita. They are insurance claim specialists and even offer payment plans for your deductible. For personalized, friendly service, visit pattersonscollisioncenter.com. or call 294-1011 and let Patterson's Collision Center help ease your worries today.
You don't have to choose between productivity, your health, and your family anymore. There's a natural choice for relief, free from drug side effects, and that can save you time and money. Hi, it's Santa Clarita chiropractor Dr. Thomas Pilecki from the Senior Hour, and I'd love to help you get the relief you need to take care of business and your family. So I created the Better Than Money Back Guaranteed consultation for just $79. Call 753-9340 to book your Better Than Money Back Guaranteed consultation now.
Hey, Ned, what are you doing with the candy and flowers?
The boss said it's Sweetheart Deal Month, so I'm delivering these to the customer.
That's not what he meant. Pacific Air's Sweetheart Deal is where customers get both our WOW heating and AC tune-up together for just $59.
Oh. Hey, want some flowers and candy?
Get in the truck, Ned. Mark and Kaylee for Pacific Air.
February is the time for love, romance,
and for saving money with Pacific Air Sweetheart Deal.
This month only, get our WOW heating and AC tune-up, both services for just $59. That is our best deal ever.
No surprises, just exceptional service. Because nobody cares like Pacific Air. We think you'll say,
wow!
Call the guys in the orange truck. That's Pacific Air. On time, great care. When you want the best, call Pacific Air.
Details at pacair.com.
I'm Susan Owen, managing partner at personal injury law firm Owen, Patterson & Owen. That means I oversee everything. Accidents can happen when we least expect them. Car, motorcycle, truck, dog bite, slip and fall. Our team of experienced injury lawyers will ensure that you and your loved ones are protected. Justice is our priority. Call us today, 888-OPO-WINS, 888-OPO-WINS, or OPOLaw.com.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, your host, and you are listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. And engineer Jen and I are gorging ourselves on donuts this morning. And so producer Sarah decided to send this little tidbit our way. 7 things, Jen, you probably didn't know about donuts.
Ooh, okay.
So let's see. Did you know?
They don't last very long. I know that one for sure.
Right, okay. Exactly. Just a couple of crumbs sitting on the counter that makes the afternoon shift jealous when they come in. Yeah. What, you guys had donuts? So here we go. Did you know, Jen, that Americans consume over 10 billion donuts, 10 billion with a B
with
donuts
a B.
every year?
All right.
Okay, and half of them by your show's host. Yeah. It turns out that it's no secret that donuts are the most delicious indulgence, at least in the United States. And the average American, which I like to think of myself as above average, so the average American eats at least, oh gosh, I hope I'm not above average. The average American eats at least 63 donuts a year.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
Yeah. That is a lot.
Okay. I'm trying to do the math. I'm trying to break it down a little bit, but I guess, if you're having 2 in a sitting, kind of, somebody brings donuts in, you help yourself to 2.
Right. But that's still,
that's a lot.
If you're having 2, that's that's almost 32 times you're having a couple of donuts.
Yeah. That's
what is that? That's like 2 donuts a week almost.
That's some 5th grade math.
Wait a minute.
I don't
52
know.
weeks in a year. That's 1 donut, a little bit more than a donut a week. That's a lot of donuts.
Yeah.
That explains why. Oh, well, gosh,
the
clothing stores
are
running out of shelf space. Yeah. It does explain a lot. Yeah. And it also explains where maybe evidence of that is that there's a donut shop on just about every street that you go by. It's tough to walk past. You smell those donuts. Oh, my goodness.
I know.
So, well, actually, it says 7 things you probably didn't know about donuts. I think everybody knows this one, that cops do love donuts. Although I'm going to debate this one. It says right here, the famous relationship between cops and donuts indeed has some factual roots. For example, during the 1950s, cops on graveyard shifts would stop by donut shops to do their paperwork and enjoy some hot donuts. Eventually, the relationship developed, and donut shop owners started giving out donuts to cops for free in return for the protection they offered.
Oh, that's nice.
So,
I just assumed it was the coffee with those awful hours. Obviously, they want to be on alert.
And that's what I've been told is, my dad was a cop, worked 30 years for LAPD. And I remember as a precocious teenager once I asked him, all right, buddy, what is it with what's with the donuts, man? And he said, it's not the donuts, Matt. It's the coffee. He says, you're working on night shift or if you're doing the early morning shift, donut shops, for their convenience, they offer free coffee.
That's nice.
For cops, right? Yeah. You offer them free coffee. They start coming around more often.
Sure.
Because if you're going to be open at 3 a.m. or 24 hours like some donut shops are, you're going to be more prone to late night robberies. But folks know cops are always in them donut shops, whether it's for the donuts or the coffee. You never know when one's going to walk in. You don't want to hold up a donut shop.
Well, then you have, of course, pop culture, taking over, and the character on The Simpsons, the cop character.
Oh, yeah. Chief Wiggum.
Yes. Yeah, so you think of that and you go, okay, so which is it? Is it the coffee or the donut?
Right.
Wiggum likes the donuts. So.
Wiggum loves the donuts, but, and apparently everybody loves the donuts. 63 donuts a year. Wow. Donuts were also declared the hit food of the 20th century. Mm-hmm. During the 1933 Chicago Fair celebrations, donuts were given the title of the hit food of the century of progress. Donuts had been recently brought into fame, and thanks to the inception of the donut making machine. So donuts were cheap and easy to make, and especially famous among the working class. So no wonder donuts became the staple of the working class during the 1930s. And boy, that's when we really started to, bulk up as a nation. Go figure. Did you know, Jen, that a ship's captain invented the holes in donuts?
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah. It's a funny story. Hanson Gregory, on one of his voyages, brought homemade donuts to feed himself and his crew. And donuts were then known as fried dough pastries. And they didn't have any holes. And one day he's out there handling the ship, and he put a few fried dough pastries, precursor to the donut, through the spokes of the steering wheel. You know, that famous steering wheel, right? He just jammed them on there, and thus donut holes came into existence.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I like it.
Yeah. Donuts were served as comfort food during World Wars. So I guess trench warfare wasn't all bad.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound appetizing, but donuts sure do. The trend started with the First World War when the Salvation Army volunteers started serving donuts to soldiers to boost their morale. Soon donuts became the comfort food of the war, with Allied soldiers extensively indulging in these sweet delights. The trend continued during the Second World War when the American Red Cross outfitted trucks and young women volunteers served soldiers with donuts to make them feel more comfortable.
That's
so,
nice.
well, that'll lighten the mood at the front. You got a young lady bringing you donuts. That's great. Did you know that donuts can help you get in character? I don't know what this means, but it says this is true, at least in the case of, Renee Zellweger. Interesting. She needed, I see. If you've ever seen Bridget Jones.
Okay.
She had to bulk up a little bit. She had to put on some weight to play her role as the heroine of the movie Bridget Jones, The Edge of Reason. And so what did she do? She grabbed a bunch of donuts and made them part of her daily diet. And by diet, we mean she started eating. Holy moly, she's bringing our averages back up. She started eating around 20 donuts a day.
Oh, my gosh.
20. I don't know how you could do that and not make yourself sick.
How would you not get sick, but actually sick? Need some kind of medical attention. I would think there's other ways to gain weight.
I don't know.
Sure, have the donut, but maybe look into some other,
pasta,
healthier foods that are, they're, what is it? Avocados are super high in fat and calories. So maybe try that with the donut.
I don't know. Yeah. Mix in some
a little intense.
grits and sausage or something.
Right,
I don't know. But according to Zellweger, one donut doesn't do a thing. I'm going to argue with you, Renee.
Yeah, it sure does.
A donut a day will do more than a thing.
Does.
But she says you've got to have 20 a day for at least 5 weeks to see any results. Yeah, poor Renee. She can have 2-3 donuts a day and not put on any weight. Shut up.
That's gross.
All righty. Donuts were once called oily cakes. That actually sounds more like it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And that is not appetizing.
No, it's not. No. And that's what this article says. That doesn't sound appetizing. We get it. But the donuts were in their simple form. Donuts came to America via the Dutch. The Dutch used to call these sweet pastries, in Dutch, they called them olykoeks.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Olykoeks. That's my Dutch voice.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Yeah.
Olykoeks. Yeah. So, and that translates to oily cakes.
You could work for The Simpsons doing a voice.
Yeah. So, well, thanks. Poor Wiggum. Oily cakes. I don't think they would fly off the shelves at the rate of 63 per person per year if they were still called oily cakes. They were originally sweet balls of dough fried in oil and served during special occasions. And only after these oily cooks came to America, they saw the radical transformation that we come to know and love now. The donuts we know and love today have come a long way from being a lump of fried dough to one of the most popular, well, it says here desserts. I always thought of donuts as breakfast.
It's more breakfast, I think. Yeah, I mean, it is a dessert, really.
Oh, sure.
What's your favorite kind? If you can only have one.
If I can only have one, that's the thing. I
for?
can't only have one, right?
True.
So I think I gotta say I like the old-fashioned glazed.
Yeah?
It's something about the kind of lumpy, kind of moon surface. What about you? What do you like?
I like the chocolate long johns. Those are my favorite.
Chocolate. Okay. So. That's, from what I've heard, a Midwestern term, a long john.
Yes,
Are you from the Midwest?
I'm from St. Louis.
There you go.
Right front and center, Midwest, yeah.
Yeah, here on the West Coast, we've got a much fancier name for the long john. It's a bar.
A bar.
Right.
Okay, well,
a maple bar.
In the Midwest, especially St. Louis, bar means something different to us.
It means that here on the West Coast too. But you know what, Jen? I'm feeling like another donut. You want to go grab a donut?
Let's go
with
do
me?
it. Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
Get out of here.
I'm Matt Watson, she's engineer Jen, and you're listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, your host, and you are listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley, where we just learned that there are 0 calories in bites of donuts. If you just have one bite, 0 calories. Just
I would agree with that, yeah.
If you eat food off of someone else's plate, 0 calories.
Doesn't count.
Cookie crumbs at the bottom of the bag, 0 calories. What you need to stay away from is the average 63 donuts a year. Average. Wow.
Yeah, that math, that hurts. That's intense.
It really does. And we're extending donut talk to my next guests as well, and just marveling, over the average American having a donut and a half a week. That is amazing. I am joined now by Bridge to Home's Chris Naharro. Threw myself off with donut talk. Chris Naharro and Mandy O'Connor. Miss Naharro is Bridge to Home's executive director. She's an experienced social service professional with nearly a quarter of a century of experience. She joined Bridge to Home in August of 2017 as director of programs. She's been working to serve the homeless community of Santa Clarita Valley since 2011 when she accepted the director role of Family Promise of Santa Clarita Valley. Chris started her social services career as a case specialist at Child Care Resource Center, ending her 11-year tenure as CalWorks Stage 1 Department Coordinator. Chris holds a bachelor's degree in sociology from Cal State Northridge, go Matadors, and a master's from USC. And Ms. Mandy O'Connor is Bridge to Home's Director of Development. She brings over 10 years of experience in the nonprofit industry, previously serving in a similar capacity for an educational foundation in Northern California. After graduating from UC Santa Barbara with a BA in communication, Mandy moved to the Bay Area and spent 9 years in sales, primarily in the hospitality field. A native of the Santa Clarita Valley, Mandy and her family relocated back to Southern California in 2019. She loves living in Santa Clarita again and is honored to be working for this exceptional organization, Bridge to Home. Welcome to Eye on the Valley, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So glad to have you. So we would love for our listeners to hear more about each of you and how you came to Bridge to Home, because you each had very successful careers prior to Bridge to Home. Can you tell us what attracted you to this organization?
So for me, I've always wanted to work with the homeless population. And I had the fortunate opportunity to start working with Family Promise in, I think it was 2010, maybe 2011. Now I don't remember. I think you just said that, but I don't remember. And I was there for several years, and that's how I started working in Santa Clarita and started focusing on the homeless population here locally. And it was a startup then, and I loved it. It was a wonderful organization. I got to know a lot of the community members, congregations in the area, and really passionate about it. And it really, showed me and brought light to the issue of homelessness, not only in Santa Clarita, but all over Los Angeles, and then eventually had the opportunity to come to Bridge to Home, and then at that time, Bridge to Home was pretty small. We had only a winter shelter at that time, and I went there as the director of programs, and it was a wonderful time to join Bridge to Home because it was a moment where we were able to take advantage of a lot of growth, and we started developing a lot of programs and eventually became what we now are, which is a year-round shelter, and having several case management programs, funded by like the state of California, the county of Los Angeles, the city of Santa Clarita, and growing into what we are today, which, is we've doubled in size, and now we're about to open our permanent shelter here in a couple of months.
That is so exciting. What about you, Mandy? Besides the opportunity to move back to Awesome Town, what attracted you to Bridge to Home?
Well, I've worked in the nonprofit arena, as it says, for over 10 years, and I worked in the educational field. But really, when I moved from a for-profit to a nonprofit, it touched me. I don't think I'll ever go back. I feel like I'm making a difference in individuals' lives and our community's lives. But when I came back here a little over 4 years ago, I didn't know what I was going to do. And all of a sudden, I saw an opening at Bridge to Home. I researched it, and I knew I wanted to work in this town, give back to this town, and invest in where we're going. I noticed that we were building a new shelter that was going to house not only individuals, but families. And I thought, you know what? I've learned a lot. I know how to bring a community together. And I'm very honored to be, as it says in this organization, with the people that I work with, because we go to work every day with a fire. We are going to make a change in this valley, in this county. And I think what we're doing is we're trying to help people who need a second chance. I think that everybody deserves a hot meal. Everybody deserves to sleep in a warm place. And that's really what drew me to this organization. And I'm thrilled to be in it right now because we are on a mission. So that's why I'm here.
That is great. And, it is really rewarding to, like you said, wake up and know that when you go to work, you're going to make a huge difference in someone's life. And that really is, it really does, like you said, light your fire. So tell us what it looks like day to day. You're the executive director and the director of development. So what does the executive director do every day?
Well, it's not very, describing it like this is not very...
You walk around, you're the boss, and you tell people what to do.
I direct people.
There you go.
No, we work together all the time. We're always talking, not only with Mandy, but our entire team. So we're constantly working on whatever it is, the challenge for the day, for the week, for the month. And we're bouncing ideas back and forth. There's a lot of meetings, which is not my favorite. But that's when a lot of our, ideas and what we plan for events or strategic planning or anything like that. That's when that happens. But I think the most important part is what our case managers do, day to day. It's not necessarily what we do. Yeah, we're behind the scenes. We're doing that stuff. We're keeping the operations going, right? We're raising funds and things like that. But they are working, face to face with the clients, the ones that we are here to serve. They are really the core of the organization. They're housing people, they're building rapport. And they take the time to, identify their barriers, because each one of us have them, right? Some more than others. And those barriers are usually what keep people from going and taking the next step. And then so they address each one of those barriers one by one, and then hopefully get to the point where they find housing that's affordable and suitable for that individual, and then keep them housed. And our programs are all different. Sometimes we just do intake, or some of them are intake case managers, some of them are housing navigators, and some of them are permanent case managers, so they stay with with that individual or family for the life of the program. And it's what they do that really matters. It's what they do, why Bridge to Home exists.
Yeah.
So and they are the heart of the organization. And I don't want to take away from also our shelter staff. Our shelter staff is amazing too. They're doing they're doing a lot of the work also. We have 60 clients that stay at our shelter currently. We'll have families. And 20 are females, 40 are males. And, a lot of things happen then too. We have a bunch of activities at our shelter, which involve volunteers. And then we have case managers on site, and there's showers, there's meals, there's a warm and safe place for them to stay. So it's important with all of the, frontline staff, what they do day to day. Our stuff is boring.
But I think that's what a lot of people in the community don't realize, is that we do have the shelter, and there's staff and case managers and support for those individuals. But the other case managers that travel 60 miles or more a day to go visit these families that they've helped give resources to, help navigate, that they've built a relationship with, they call them because for emotional support. I mean, they are all things to these people. And it's just that I don't think people realize what this full organization does for the county of LA.
Well, I certainly didn't. You serve the unhoused community here in Santa Clarita, but I guess when folks do find a home, it's oftentimes maybe outside of Santa Clarita, but your case managers still follow them, still work with them to continue to support them. That's taxing but beautiful. That really is beautiful. And you mentioned several times the homeless families that you have. I think a lot of us, when we think of the unhoused population, we think of, well, typically a man, right? And single. But you've got families that you serve as well. That's got to be tough.
Yeah, all populations get affected by homelessness. There's nobody that's exempt from it, right? Just like any community. A lot of times people will say, like, Santa Clarita has homeless? Yeah, every community. Nobody is exempt from a homeless population. But our families, we have case managers to specifically focus on families that are experiencing homelessness. And, their children go to school here. This is where their friends are at. This is where they're working as a parent, or they attend a congregation in the area. And unfortunately, up until now, Bridge to Home has not had our shelter for families. We've always had to send these families to different areas in the San Fernando Valley so that they can get their shelter needs met.
Oh gosh.
And of course that's very difficult, because then they have to travel back and forth, to the kids to go to school, or they uproot their kids, they have to now move from a school in Santa Clarita that they've always attended to now be going to school and maybe in the San Fernando Valley. Now, thankfully, we are going to have 8 units for these families to be able to serve them here. Yeah, and we're really excited about that. It has been a long time coming, and so we are excited about that, to be able to keep at least 8 families here in Santa Clarita if their children go to school here, they work here, whatnot.
Sure, yeah, and that's important, right? Because if you're experiencing homelessness, there's already just layers on layers of struggles that you're having. And then in order to get shelter, if you've got to leave your school and go to another community, that's another devastating issue for a kid.
Yeah, it's another traumatic experience for a child.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So you mentioned how your organization has grown so quickly. Can you talk to us a little bit about the history of Bridge to Home?
So we started opened our doors in 1997 as a winter shelter only.
Okay.
And I think we had, I might be wrong with the numbers, but I think it was 21 beds at the time.
Okay.
years later, eventually it became a shelter with 60 beds. That's where we're at now. In 2019, we became a year-round shelter. A few years prior to that, we started doing case management services, and we opened up our client service center, which right now is here in New Hall. And then we started developing new programs. So we have, like I mentioned earlier, we have intake service workers, and we have our navigation program. Originally, it was only for individuals. Then we eventually took on some families. Then we started working with the Department of Health Services and had developed some programs that were focused on people with medical needs. So those are usually the harder ones, like people that are at the real tough stages of homelessness because they're battling like maybe some severe health or mental health issues, and they really need that support. And so we started servicing those types of individuals with case management and permanent housing. And when I say permanent housing, we don't have a building that does that. We just place them in apartments throughout LA County, and we pay their housing through vouchers. Okay. And then they get that for their lifetime. And then now we're doing this year-round shelter that's going to have these 8 units for families, and that should be opening in about June. So it's grown significantly. And we now have an outreach team too. So we have a group of people that go into the streets of Santa Clarita. They work with our code enforcement. So they work with the sheriff's department to engage with people that are living in the streets and try to get them connected to services.
Wow, that is fantastic. I remember, Mandy, the last time you were here, you talked about starting this new building, and it's almost done. Going to be ready here for summer. That's really exciting. Besides shelter, what new services is this building going to allow you to provide?
So the building is going to be equipped with a training center.
Great.
Yes, so that's wonderful because you're going to have just a dedicated center just for that. Right now we use our dining hall for everything. Okay. So we'll have areas where just certain activities are taking place in. Then we have a room for like a conference rooms and things like that. And then we're going to have a medical room. We're going to have a respite room so people could use that for therapy or clinical therapy. And then everybody's going to have their designated offices, finally.
That is important.
And a great kitchen. Our volunteers are very excited about that because right now they don't have a working kitchen. There's no real running water or stove or anything. So we'll have a lot of those things available to them. And a dining hall that's going to be much bigger, and we'll also be able to use for yoga or karaoke night or trainings.
To get even more of the community involved, because we couldn't do this without this community. They bring in, we served over 70,000 meals last year, and that is due to individuals bringing in, or congregations, clubs bringing in meals for dinners. This is obviously through our Feed It Forward program that, anybody who needs a hot meal at night can come to Bridge to Home 7 days a week and get a hot meal. Wow. And as Chris said, the programs versus there's showers that people are going to be able to take at our new shelter. Come do a load of laundry. You don't think about that stuff.
Right.
But they don't have that. So this building will be able to be a one-stop shop for that. Get a hug, get a hello. That's what it's about.
Yeah. That is really important, and you're right. Our community really is very generous, and have our community really serves each other so well. In fact, I understand you've got an event that our community can get involved in. I do want to talk about that, but we need to take a quick break. Bridge to Home's Chris Najarro and Mandy O'Connor joined me this morning. When we get back, we'll talk about what they've got coming up. Stick around. I am Matt Watson. You're listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I am your host, Matt Watson, and joining me this morning is Chris Najarro and Mandy O'Connor, Bridge to Home's executive director and director of development, respectfully, and together with their team, they're doing amazing things to serve the unhoused population here in Santa Clarita and beyond. Mandy, I mentioned before the break that y'all have a great event coming up. Can you tell listeners about Soup for the Soul?
Yes, I'm thrilled. It is my life right now.
All right.
We're going to have over 300 people there this year.
Oh, wow.
We are sold out. I'm sad to tell you, but I can't wait to tell you about it because maybe we can make it bigger next year.
Yeah.
This year it's going to be at our lovely Hyatt Regency in Valencia. We have never had this event at such a large location. What we're doing this for is it's our largest fundraiser for each year. But it's not just a fundraiser of, yes, raising funds, which all funds will go to providing meals, to our shelter, to our case management services and programs, and will be given back to our unhoused neighbors and to the programs that we provide. But it's a night of celebration.
Okay.
We're celebrating our board of directors, our staff, our hundreds. We had over 1,000 volunteers last year. It's remarkable what this community has done, and it's the heart of Bridge to Home. I mean, the Santa Clarita Valley created Bridge to Home, and we get to celebrate that night. We have over 30 sponsors. They're from large corporations in Santa Clarita to mid to small size organizations. We have over a dozen congregations that will be there this year.
All right.
So it's going to be a night of live auctions. So maybe you can get a trip to Mexico. Maybe you can walk away with a new doggy.
Oh gosh, those puppy dogs, they go for way too much money every time. Because how can you resist? You're there petting and you've got a bid.
Yeah. And, and everything, maybe you can buy, win a package to go to the LA Kings, but
great.
All the funds go directly to our programs. We're going to have a dessert auction, and wonderful people in this community donated to our silent auction. Just small town business owners, to all of our restaurants. People called in to donate when they heard about, Soup for the Soul is coming up again. I want to give, because that's our way of giving. There's many ways to give to this organization.
Sure. Oh, that's fantastic. And you mentioned, all of your sponsors. You said you've got over 30 sponsors. I want to give you the opportunity to shout a few of them out. I know you could never get to all of them.
Yes.
But did you want to call out a few of your sponsors?
I would love to. We have the SciCan Foundation, which is our title sponsor. We have Supervisor Catherine Barger, 5th District. We have the City of Santa Clarita. We have Intertex.
Yeah.
Those are our top 4. We
right.
have Stay Green. And then we have tons of other organizations, from Realtors, the Neil Weichel Group, Logix, LBW. So those are just a few.
Fantastic,
but we're just thrilled to. We really we don't have to ask too much. They say, "What can we do?"
I love that. And again, our community is so amazing and so giving and so caring. I absolutely love hearing it. I understand. So it's going to be a celebration. It's going to be a live and silent auction. Love me a good silent auction. I love watching the people kind of try to act casual, but they circle those prizes like buzzards. And I'm one of them. But it's also going to be a bit of an educational evening. People going to be learning some stuff about what y'all do.
Oh, yes. And we interviewed several of our clients, so we're going to have just beautiful success stories, and they talk about how they found Bridge to Home, what Bridge to Home did for them. And you know what the common theme is that they, like I said, they heard them. Each one of them said they heard them when they didn't think someone could hear them. And one gentleman came to our shelter, and you'll hear their story next Saturday night, and he was going to take his life. And he got there and he said, I just need someone to hear me. And he talked about the stories that he would sit and talk with his case manager or anybody that would really listen. And that's what I see about this organization is the staff and the volunteers. They're here saving lives. It's really incredible.
Yeah, it's so important to that folks are being humanized, especially with the homeless population. We can walk right by somebody and almost bump into them, but we won't look at them. We won't even acknowledge that they exist. So that acknowledgement is so important. talking this morning with Chris Naharo and Mandy O'Connor from Bridge to Home, serving the unhoused community here in Santa Clarita, and they've got this Soup for the Soul event coming up. Are you really going to be serving soup? Is that what's for dinner that night?
So soup comes in because, it's obviously Soup for the Soul, but many years ago, when Soup for the Soul started, there was soup being served. It was kind of like a soup kitchen type,
Right, sure.
And there were bowls, ceramic bowls that were donated and made by hand, and people, I think, were painting them and got to take them home. So it was the way that the event was created and developed. And then over time, it just started getting too big, and soup was just not, we couldn't serve it the way that we used to,
Sure.
So it has developed into what it is today. We do incorporate soup in some way to keep, for it to continue to have that original and, concept of what it was, but it's not served as the main meal anymore, unfortunately.
But we will feed your soul that evening.
There you
absolutely.
go.
And
we are the soup.
Yeah.
I love that. We in the work we do are the soup for your soul. I want to ask about numbers a little bit and what's going on, what trends you're seeing with the homeless population here in Santa Clarita. It seems to me as a casual observer, I'm just kind of driving around town. Maybe I'm just noticing it more, but it seems like we've had an uptick in the unhoused population here in Santa Clarita. Are you seeing the same? Are our numbers?
Yeah.
What are they doing?
So in the past, when I first started, the shelter would not consistently stay at 60. Now we do see our shelter stay at 60 beds full every night.
Okay.
And the only time we have a turnover on a bed is probably when we have somebody or something has happened where that person is moving out of our shelter. But typically it stays full. That was not the case before. It would, sometimes we'd reach 60, but it would take a dip sometimes. We don't really see that anymore. So we know by that alone that there is more of a need. And in Santa Clarita, we're used to not seeing, the visible homelessness that in other communities in Los Angeles you see, but now you're starting to see that here. So we're hoping that, that our programs will reach those individuals now that we have an outreach team, and we can start addressing that, because we would like to take it, handle that now before it becomes a bigger problem. But yeah, there is a increase in services. During the pandemic, though, the numbers dropped a little bit. We used to serve over 1,000, and now we're back up to about 900. We expect that with the new shelter, we'll probably see even more than that.
Okay.
People will probably start taking more advantage of what the services that we're offering. We're hoping that's the case. We expect that that'll be the case, and we'll probably go back up to our, over 1,000 individuals being served annually. Our numbers that are officially printed by, our point in time count, which happens in January, they don't really reflect what we see as an organization. So we don't really like to base ourselves through those numbers. They usually show about somewhere between 200 to 250 on one given night experiencing homelessness in Santa Clarita.
All right.
That doesn't mean those are the numbers for the year. In a year, of course, that's gonna be a much larger number.
Sure.
But yeah, there is an increase, and I think that just proves that we need more services, and we really need to focus on this this population, the homeless population, and see what we can do, and hopefully, we'll have other much necessary programs.
Yeah.
And the last few years has been harder. It's expensive. It's, not everybody at the shelter is, people think it's due to, addiction. They're not all that way. And you'll hear that at one of our success stories is that, it got too much for her.
Yeah.
And she didn't have the network to help. And so she came into the shelter. It took her 1 year, which is the average 10 months. And now she has a home again. And it's not as easy as maybe it used to be.
Sure.
A few years back, I think the pandemic has financially crippled some people.
Yeah.
And then, the cost of living.
Yeah, because housing costs a lot more, right?
Yeah.
And it's very hard to find affordable housing anywhere, especially here in Santa Clarita. So housing people has become more challenging for us.
Sure.
Those numbers have taken a dip. We used to house many more people in a year's time because it was easier. It wasn't as expensive.
Right.
Right. But now it's taking us a lot longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, folks, if you're listening, they do need your support. Unfortunately, I understand that folks can't get tickets to your Soup for the Soul anymore. Congratulations, you
Not
sold
this
out.
year.
Not this year.
Next
year
they still can.
But you need support now.
Yeah.
We do.
So if folks can't get to Soup for the Soul this year, how can they support you?
They can donate in different ways, from volunteering to bringing meals to bringing supplies. But really, we're building a community shelter to help our unhoused neighbors. And to become a bridge builder is a key, which means you can go online to b2home.org, donate there, and you can become a monthly donor. That's what a bridge builder is. It's vital to our organization. $25 a month would be huge for us to receive each month combined. So bridge the gap.
Yeah, and there's also right now with the new shelter, they can still buy a brick, so it could be there at the shelter with a little message, and you'll take part of Santa Clarita history by with the first shelter in the area.
I love that. There was another area actually at one of our schools that I purchased a brick a few years back, and it was, a brick's not that expensive, and I got my family's name engraved on it, and now every time I walk by there, that's my brick. I helped build this courtyard. Great to be able to do the same thing.
Yes.
Hey, I literally helped build that shelter. That's an amazing idea. And Mandy, you mentioned $25 a month. I spend more than that on coffee. Right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
It's not much, but it makes a huge difference.
Yes, huge difference to us.
So again, you said your website is b2home.org. That's the letter B, T-O, home.org. Nice and short. I love it.
Go.
And you really are a bridge to home, not just, although it's extremely important to provide a night's shelter, a hot meal, a shower, services, but you're actually taking people from homelessness into a home. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love it.
Yes.
So you mentioned challenges that your clients are facing, and all of them are facing, in some cases, multiple challenges. We all face challenges, and I want to tell you about one that I face every Friday. I love my mother. She's an amazing woman, but she doesn't let me have nice things of my own. She makes me share my radio show with my stupid brother. So every Friday, he calls in at the end of the show and he horses around. He does have some trivia questions today. Do you ladies I know you're doing great work, and it's very important, and there's lots of it, and you've got an event to plan, but do you have a few minutes to stick around? Can you play trivia with me?
Of course.
All right, Big T, we've got a couple more volunteers. Why don't you give us a call, and you know what? You can play along at home as well. See if you can beat us, but I don't know if you're going to be able to do it. These ladies are pretty smart. Chris Najarro and Mandy O'Connor, Bridge to Home's Executive Director and Director of Development. Thanks for joining me. Stick around. We're going to play. This is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I am Matt Watson, and this is your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I am your host, Matt Watson, and I'm joined this morning by Mandy O'Connor and Chris Najarro from Bridge to Home. But ladies, it's no longer about you. It is all about Big T now. It is time for Big T's 5 minutes of fame. If you haven't met Big T is an executive and a philanthropist. He's an amazing father, husband, community leader, mediocre brother. He's a world traveler. And, well, if you ever saw somebody that looks like Tony, you probably had to pay an entry fee. Here he is, everybody. He's Mom's favorite. Big T, welcome to the show.
I think I could live with all of that.
Including being a sideshow attraction? All right, very cool.
You did not say sideshow attraction.
Okay, well.
But you definitely have to pay for the show.
Oh boy. You know what, Tony? This is a school-based show, so we're not going to get into that. Tony, Mandy, and Chris said that they were going to stick around and play trivia. So, ladies, here are the rules. Tony's got some trivia questions, and if you know the answer, don't shout the answer because he won't be able to tell which one is Chris, which one is Mandy. So you have to hit your buzzer.
Okay.
Your buzzer is your name.
Okay.
So you just going to call out your name.
Got it.
For some unexplained reason, I go by Frogger when we play trivia.
Okay.
So we've got Frogger, Jen, Chris, Mandy, and you can play along at home, and you've got a significant advantage on us. You don't have to call out your name. You can just shout out the answer, get the drop on us, but we're pretty smart. I don't think you're going to be able to beat us. Give it a shot. Big T, what have you got for us?
Got some. We're going to jump right into trivia, Maddie.
All right.
You ready?
Cool. I'm ready, yeah.
All righty. What bird has the largest wingspan?
Frogger.
Frogger.
I'm going to go with an eagle.
Incorrect.
Jen.
Jen.
Condor.
Incorrect. It's also referred to as a golf score. Better than a birdie.
I said eagle already, yeah.
Better than an eagle. It's an albatross.
Oh, geez.
I didn't get that.
Right. Yeah, and that one's going to hang around our neck for a long time.
Right. What are rhinoceros horns made of?
Frogger.
Frogger.
This sounds weird, but I think it's hair.
Hair is correct. Nice pull, Frogger.
Well, all right.
What is a group of crows called?
Jen.
Jen.
A murder.
Murder is correct. Nice pull.
Right. We had that on the show a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Ladies, did you know that a group of crows was called a murder?
No.
Yeah, I think Alfred Hitchcock named them that.
Really?
Do you know what a group of Karens is called?
What?
A homeowners association.
Erica calls a group of crows run for her life.
That too.
All right. What kind of creature is a Portuguese man of war?
Jen.
Jen.
A jellyfish.
Jellyfish. Good pull.
Really?
All right. We're gonna move away from the animal questions.
Yes, please.
We are terrible.
In Middle Eastern cuisine, what is hummus made from?
Oh,
Mandy.
Mandy.
Oh gosh. Garbanzo beans.
Yeah.
We'll give you that. Chickpeas.
Chickpeas.
Yeah, those are garbanzos.
Yeah, that's what they said. We'll give it to you.
Right.
Thank you,
That's chickpeas are pronounced garbanzo in Portuguese.
Ah, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew
Good call. What's the most popular carbonated beverage?
Frogger.
Frogger.
It's got to be beer. Come on, beer.
Nope.
that. Mandy. Coca-Cola.
Mandy. Coca-Cola is correct. Nice pull, Mandy.
Nice.
In which American state was the first McDonald's opened?
Frogger.
Frogger.
It's got to be the Midwest somewhere. I'm going Missouri.
Incorrect.
Nuts.
I just watched that.
Jen.
No, me too.
Jen.
I'm going to guess Georgia.
Incorrect. Farther west. That doesn't narrow it down much.
No.
Right?
No.
Well, hey, we've already
Okay.
ticked 2 off. You've got 48 to choose from.
Right. Chris.
Chris.
Kansas?
Incorrect. Mandy, you got anything?
Throw a state, Mandy.
Oklahoma.
Incorrect. It's actually California.
Oh.
Home of the greasy
state of
burger.
gluttony. It's California.
Right.
What British chocolate company produces cream-filled chocolate eggs?
Frogger.
Frogger.
It's Cadbury. Those are my jam.
You love those things.
Oh, boy.
Oh, but they don't make them like they used to. Really, I feel like they've changed
They've changed the recipe?
some kind. Yeah, the cream is not as creamy. It's a little more thick. It's like paste almost. Yeah.
We are your
I'll
junk food
still,
show
I'll
of
still
record,
eat
Tony.
them. Don't worry.
Okay. All right.
Caramel's the best.
I'm not going to turn them down.
Frogger's like, are they still delicious?
Right,
Yes,
right.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
they are.
Oh, yeah.
What's the colloquial term for a rotating tray often placed on a table to aid in distributing food?
Jen.
Mandy.
Jen?
I'll let Mandy go. She's
A
our
lazy
guest.
Susan.
Go ahead, Mandy.
A lazy Susan.
Lazy Susan is correct.
Jen, that's very gracious, but Mandy's now in the lead. You might want to back
man.
off
All right, well,
on
I'm not going to be nice
on your
anymore.
kindness.
Guest or no guest.
You're very
It's
sweet.
on.
You can have it next time.
Which duo won the first Grammy for Best Rap Performance?
Frogger.
Frogger.
Is that Run and DMC?
Gonna make sure. No, that is not correct.
Yeah, put your business on hold. You're doing something important, Tony.
Jen.
I did.
I'll take a guess. Was it Salt and Pepper?
No, good guess, though.
I love your pronunciation on
And
Peppa.
you have to say it the right way.
Right.
Two guys.
Okay, Chris. I don't know why. I think it's Milli Vanilli for some reason.
Incorrect. Mandy, you got anything? One of them is a huge movie star now.
Oh gosh.
No, I I don't.
I think I've got it now.
Is it
Of
a
course,
duo?
that's what he said. Is it DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince?
DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince is correct.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
What was the name of the coffee shop in the TV show Friends?
Mandy.
Oh, Chris. Oh, no.
Mandy.
Perks.
I'm sorry?
Did I say Perks? Oh.
Frogger.
Go. Sorry.
Frogger.
You're close.
It's Central Perk.
Oh gosh.
Central
sorry.
Perk is correct.
I love the teamwork, though.
What was the name of the rom-com that Matthew Perry and Selma Hayek starred in?
Frogger.
Jen.
Frogger.
That was Fools Rush In, named my second child after Salma Hayek's character there, floating down the river in that inner. Oh boy, don't get me started.
Wow. Between the Cadbury eggs and Selma Hayek.
Oh man, you give Salma Hayek an inner tube and a Cadbury egg.
With the Cadbury egg. Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
I don't even know her name in the movie.
I don't either.
It's
what part of the human body? What
Isabel,
part of the
but
human
she
body
goes
can regrow
by
itself?
Frogger or Tony. We're taking care of some important business here. So her name in the movie
go
is
ahead, good
Isabel, but her dad calls her Isa.
Oh, that's cute.
And so my second born is Isabel Mariela, and we called her Isa.
I love it.
All right. Sorry, T. Back to your show.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you. What part of the human body can regrow itself in 3 weeks?
Frogger.
Chris.
Frogger.
I've proved this. The liver.
The liver is correct.
Shut up, liver. You're fine.
Which is why we're rough. When we come back from Vegas, it's a rough 2.5 weeks until we get there.
Right.
Who holds the record for the most Grammys for Album of the Year?
Jen.
Jen.
Would that be Michael Jackson?
Incorrect.
Ooh.
Mandy.
Frog. Oh, go, Mandy.
Whitney Houston.
Incorrect. This is as of February.
I know this one.
Chris has got it.
There you go, Chris.
Chris?
What is her name? Everybody. Wait, Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Taylor Swift is correct.
Nice.
What revolutionary leader wrote the book Common Sense?
Frogger.
Frogger.
That'd be Thomas Paine.
That is correct. What was the name of the last Queen of Africa? Or excuse me, Queen of France?
Oh, Frogger.
Frogger.
Marie Antoinette.
That is correct. What force pulls objects towards the Earth's core and keeps us from floating into the sky?
Jen. Gravity.
Gravity's correct.
Okay. Sometimes you wonder, is this too easy? Like, what am I missing? Is this
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And did you realize that gravity affects Frogger twice as much as any other human?
No, I
It
didn't.
feels like it sometimes. Gosh. The little dial on the scale just keeps spinning.
Big T's like, get up, Frogger.
Right. It might have something to do with my nickname.
What's the capital of Connecticut?
Frogger.
Frogger.
I think it's the C, isn't it?
We'll give you that. No points. Anybody else?
Capital C. Jen gets it.
I got it. That was bad. But
My son would know this.
I used to know this.
Anybody? No.
no.
Hartford.
Hartford.
There you go.
Oh, gosh,
Hartford,
Tony,
correct.
you and I have relatives that helped found that city.
According to Mom.
Yes. Hey, Mom's never wrong.
How many syllables are there in the word creation?
3.
Your buzzer, please, Jen.
Jen.
Jen?
3.
3 is correct.
Okay.
The Statue of Liberty was a gift to the U.S.
Frogger.
from where? Frogger.
France.
France is correct.
That explains why
What
your
do you
teeth
call-
are so messed up.
What do you call a scientist who studies rocks?
Frogger.
Frogger.
Geologist.
Geologist is correct. What's the largest and the deepest ocean in the world?
Frogger.
Frogger.
I was going to go Antarctic Ocean, but there isn't an Antarctic Ocean. I'm going Indian.
Incorrect.
Shoot.
Chris?
I'm sorry?
Chris? I think it's Pacific.
Pacific is correct.
Nice.
Good job.
How many amendments are there in the Bill of Rights?
Frogger.
Frogger.
All of them.
Good answer.
It's 10.
Yeah.
10 is correct. What movie is this line from? You're going to need a bigger boat.
Jen.
Jen.
Don't waste her time.
Come on, Jaws.
Jaws is correct. Jen's like, these are all too easy.
Right. She rolled her eyes at that one.
Who is the most recent actor to play James Bond?
Frogger.
Frogger.
Is it Daniel Craig?
Daniel Craig is correct.
Woohoo! Big T, we got time for 2 more.
All right. Who holds what singer holds the record for most Grammy nominations?
Frogger.
Frogger.
Now I'm going Michael Jackson.
Incorrect.
Shoot.
Her husband got on his high horse at this Grammys because she has the most nominations, but never Album of the Year.
Beyonce. I was going to say that too. Yeah. Good job.
I'm sorry?
Chris is going with Beyonce.
Beyonce is correct.
There we go.
Who was the youngest Oscar winner of all time?
Jen.
Was
it Tatum O'Neal?
Tatum O'Neal's correct, 10 years old.
It was. And what happened to her after she became a teenager?
Probably not good. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think she did a few acting roles as well.
Did she?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that, we do have to wrap it up. Ladies, thank you for playing. I do appreciate it. Big T, thanks for swinging by. We also want to thank our guest, Kate Wolfe at iLeadOnline, free public online charter school. Check them out at iLeadOnline.org. Chris Naharro, Mandy O'Connor from Bridge to Home, producer Sarah, engineer Jen, engineer Andrew, Big T, and thank you for listening. Remember, life is hard, but we're all here to help each other along. Be well and do good, and join us again next Friday and every Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. I'm Matt Watson, and this is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.